At the hospital after my appendectomy, I reached for my phone to call my wife. She didn't pick up. The nurse said, "She signed you out hours ago." Confused, I got a ride home from a friend, and walked in on her laughing with a man I'd never seen before. She said, "You were taking too long to recover." I got bored. I left without saying a word. 3 days later, I cancelled her access to all our accounts, and watched as her card got declined at a store. She called me screaming. I said, "I hope he has a job." After Dave dropped me off at the motel, I just sat there on the edge of the bed for hours. I didn't even turn the lights on. I stared at the wall and replayed everything over and over in my head. Her laugh. His arm around her. The way she said it so casually, like my pain was an inconvenience to her. "You were taking too long to recover." I got bored. It wasn't just betrayal. It was how little she cared. How fast she moved on. Like I was nothing. The next morning, when the painkillers wore off, and the throbbing in my side reminded me how fresh my stitches were, I realized something. She was expecting me to crawl back. Beg for her attention. Maybe even apologize for being sick and ruining her fun. She had no idea who she married. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't going to make a scene. I was going to erase her. First thing I did was drive, slow and painful, to the bank. I sat down with a personal banker, showed them my ID, all the account numbers, and explained the situation. I told them she was not authorized anymore, and that I needed full control. I even made up some story about potential fraud so they would flag it immediately. Within an hour, the accounts were frozen. All of them. Next stop, credit cards. I closed the joint card completely. Opened a brand new one under my name only. Same with my checking account, brand new, fresh start. Third stop. Online logins. Utilities, insurance, car registration. One by one, I logged in, changed the passwords, updated contact info, and removed her name from everything. She didn't even realize how much she depended on me. We had been together 6 years. Married for 4. I paid every bill. Managed every account. Set up every automatic payment. She just existed. By noon, she was financially stranded. At 1:37 p.m., my phone buzzed. Decline transaction, target, $142. 57. I pictured her there, standing in line with a cart full of crap. Maybe a new outfit for the guy she met. Maybe groceries, acting like life was normal. And then, declined. Card declined. Her face turning red. People in line behind her getting annoyed. It felt like justice. Then came more. Declined, Speedway Gas, $23.19 declined, Walgreens, $58.33 declined, Chick-fil-A, $18.74. She must have been running all over town, trying every card we ever owned. It didn't matter. All of them were dead. Around 2:30 p.m., she started calling. First once. Then twice. Then a flood. By 5 p.m., my voicemail was full. Each call came with a more frantic text. Where are you? Why are my cards not working? Answer me. I can't buy anything. You asshole. Finally, I picked up around 5:45 p.m. She was screaming so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. You froze the accounts. What am I supposed to do? I can't get gas. I can't pay for anything. How could you do this to me? I waited until she was done. Let the silence hang there. Then I said, plain and slow, I hope he has a job. And I hung up. The motel room was so quiet after that. No rage. No sadness. Just cold, clear peace. But that wasn't the end. Over the next few days, she tried every trick she could think of. She called my family. She showed up at Dave's house. She even called my job, pretending to be my wife and demanding information. I ignored her. I ignored everything. It was over. Or so I thought. On the 5th day, something happened that made me realize the real revenge wasn't over yet. On the 5th day, around noon, Dave called me. He sounded serious. "Man. You might want to get over here. Julie's here. She's losing it." I didn't even ask questions. I pulled on my hoodie, slipped on some sneakers, couldn't even tie them properly because of the damn stitches, and headed out. The motel was only a 10-minute drive to Dave's place. When I pulled up, I saw her immediately. Julie. Sitting on the curb outside Dave's house, knees tucked up to her chest, sobbing. Her car wasn't there. I guess the gas situation finally caught up to her. She looked up when she heard my engine. Her face was a mess, red, blotchy, mascara streaked down her cheeks. She got up and started running toward my truck. I didn't even roll the window down. I just stared at her through the glass. She slapped the hood of my truck. "Talk to me, please. Please. I messed up, okay? I don't know what I was thinking. I panicked. I thought you were gonna die or something, and I didn't know how to deal with it. That stopped me for a second. I hadn't expected her to pull the victim card. I thought she'd blame me. Call me controlling. Say I deserved it somehow. But now she was trying to spin it like she was scared for me. I rolled the window down about 2 inches. Just enough for her to hear me. You brought a stranger into our house, I said. My voice sounded like it belonged to someone else. Cold. Flat. She started sobbing harder. I didn't sleep with him. I swear. It wasn't like that. I was just lonely. I was scared you weren't coming home and he was just there. I didn't believe her for a second. You don't get that comfortable with someone you just met and didn't sleep with, especially not while your husband is in the hospital getting sliced open. Dave came out onto the porch. He crossed his arms and just watched. He didn't say anything, but his look said it all. Don't you dare fall for it. Julie kept pleading. She promised to go to counseling. She promised she'd get a job, contribute more. She said we could start over. Said we could move somewhere new, just the two of us. I let her finish. I waited until she had no words left. Then I said, "It's too late." I drove off. I watched her in the rearview mirror, getting smaller and smaller until she disappeared. But Julie wasn't the kind of person who took no for an answer. The next day, she showed up at my motel. Banged on the door for almost an hour. Management threatened to call the cops. 2 days later, I got a text from her mom, a long, angry message telling me I was cruel, that Julie made a mistake and good men forgive. Forgive? Forgive a woman who left me helpless after surgery? Who brought some random guy into our home? Who laughed like nothing mattered? No. Forgiveness wasn't on the menu. I stayed low for another week, and then I made my final move. The house was legally in my name only, a detail Julie never cared about because she trusted me. And now? Now it was going on the market. I hired a real estate agent. Listed it fast. Priced it to sell. I didn't even care about making a profit. I just wanted it gone. Julie was still living there. She had no idea. She was about to get the shock of her life when the "for sale" sign went up in the yard. And I planned to be there to see it happen. The "for sale" sign went up on a Tuesday morning. Bright red and white. Big bold letters. Right in the middle of the front yard where nobody could miss it. I parked down the street and watched from inside Dave's truck. We sipped gas station coffee and waited. Dave kept glancing over at me like he was checking if I was about to snap. I wasn't. I felt calm. Like this was just another thing that needed doing. Around 10:00 a.m., Julie stumbled out onto the porch in pajamas and slippers. She saw the sign immediately. Her mouth dropped open. She ran out barefoot onto the grass, stared at the sign like it had personally insulted her. I saw her whip out her phone. A second later, my phone buzzed. "Julie, what the F*** K is this?" I didn't answer. 5 minutes later, another text came through. "Julie, you can't sell the house without me. I'm your wife." I smiled a little at that. She still didn't get it. She never paid attention to anything important, and now it was biting her. Her name was never on the deed. Never on the mortgage. Nothing. The real estate agent showed up about half an hour later to put the lockbox on the door. Julie came storming out, screaming, flailing her arms. I couldn't hear her from the truck, but I could imagine every word. She was yelling at the agent. Threatening legal action. Threatening to call the police. The agent calmly pulled out the paperwork. Showed her my name, and only my name. Showed her the sale contract. Julie stood there, frozen. Mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping for air. She couldn't do a damn thing. By the end of the week, the first buyers came through for showings. She had to pretend everything was normal. She had to clean up, light candles, bake cookies, whatever tricks she could pull to make the place look homey. For strangers walking through the house she thought was hers. And I wasn't done yet. I contacted the car loan company. The car she was driving? It was under my name too. She never made a payment, I did. So I stopped making them. 2 missed payments later, a repo truck pulled into the driveway at 6 a.m. I didn't have to watch that one. Dave filmed it for me. The look on her face when they hooked her little red Corolla and dragged it off the driveway was pure gold. I stayed invisible through it all. No contact. No arguments. No explaining. Just silence. Let her twist. Let her figure it out on her own. And she did. Late one night, 2 weeks after the house went on the market, she sent me one last text. "Julie, I have nothing. Are you happy now?" I stared at that message for a long time. My thumb hovered over the screen. I thought about everything, the hospital, the nurse's face, the walk through the front door, her laughter with a stranger. The cold way she said she got bored. Finally, I typed back, "Me, you earned it." I hit send. Then I blocked her number. Permanently. But as much as I thought I was done, life had one more twist waiting for me. A month later, I got a letter in the mail. Not from Julie. From a lawyer. Apparently, Julie was trying to sue me for abandonment and emotional distress. I almost laughed when I read it. But then I realized, if I didn't handle it right, she could drag this nightmare out even longer. Drain money. Waste my time. Ruin my credit. She was cornered. And a cornered animal will bite. I needed a real plan. A plan that would end this once and for all. The letter from the lawyer shook me more than I wanted to admit. It didn't matter if her claims were garbage. A lawsuit meant court fees. Time off work. Money wasted fighting lies. And the way Julie was acting, she would drag this out for years if she could. Anything to hurt me. Anything to stay tied to me. I went straight to a lawyer the next morning. His office smelled like old coffee and cheap carpet, but he knew his stuff. I laid everything out. From the hospital to the cheating to the accounts being frozen to her trying to sue me now. He listened, took notes, and leaned back in his chair. She's desperate, he said. We can crush this easy. But it'll cost you. How much? He gave me a number that made my stomach turn. I didn't have that kind of money sitting around, not after paying for the motel, the legal fees to close everything out, and losing half the furniture when I left. But then he leaned forward and said, there's another way. It turned out, in Ohio, if you could prove abandonment and adultery, you could not only kill a civil case, you could fast-track a divorce and get reimbursement for damages. All I needed was proof. Proof that she had been with that guy. Proof she lived in the house alone without paying a dime after I left. Proof she tried to bleed me dry after cheating. I had most of it already, Dave's videos, bank records, and even the text messages. I just needed the last piece. I needed the guy. The one I walked in on. Finding him wasn't hard. Small town. Everyone knows everyone. A friend of a friend knew a bartender who knew the guy's first name. Tyler. I found his Facebook. It was public. Idiot. Pictures of him and Julie together. Dates. Parties. Even pictures inside my old house, my couch, my TV, my backyard. They weren't even trying to hide it. They were proud. Happy. Living off what I built. I printed everything out. Brought it to my lawyer. Perfect, he said. Within a week, the lawsuit Julie filed was thrown out. She was ordered to pay my legal fees. And the divorce was finalized. Fast. Ugly. The house sold 2 weeks after that. Every penny from the sale went to me. Not a dime to her. The final insult? Since she had no car, no house, no bank accounts, and no job history, Julie had to move back in with her mom, in a 2-bedroom apartment above a Dollar General on the edge of town. Tyler? I heard through the grapevine he dumped her 3 weeks later. Said she was too much drama. She tried to go back to school, tried to get a job, but nobody wanted to hire her. Not with the stories going around. Not with her reputation in ruins. She made her choices. She laughed while I bled in a hospital bed. She abandoned me at my weakest. And now? Now she was alone. Flat broke. No friends. No future. And me? I healed. Not just my stitches, my whole life. I bought a small house on the other side of town. Got a new truck. Spent more time fishing with Dave. Started dating again. Slowly. Carefully. And every once in a while, when I drive past that broken little Dollar General on the edge of town, I smile. Because I remember, some things, you don't need to fight over. Some things, you just need to walk away from, and let them destroy themselves.